Welcome to the Harshie Podcast. I'm Brandon.
January. I think everyone knows that at this point, but it's like our hello.
It is.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. That's how my dad would answer.
The phone?
The telephone, yeah.
Yeah, when we had like regular phones in the house.
Yeah, the landline phones. Those old things.
I miss those. I think I'm going to get one again.
Mm-hmm.
This is our 80th episode.
Number 80.
And the last one of 2018. So I love that. I love numbers. So I love that. And thank you guys for listening. We're not as consistent this year as we have been going through so many transitions, but they've been really, really good. And that's one thing I loved about the podcast is we've kept it going, but we also, we fit it into our lives. Yeah.
Whenever we can fit it in, we get it in.
It's no fun if you're always stressed out about it. So it's been great, but tell everyone what you did.
Well, today is our top 9 of 2019, and I picked my favorite clip from each of our top 9 most downloaded new episodes of 2019. I don't know that anything will surpass our episode number 5, our Mormons and Heathen episodes.
That is definitely our top downloaded, most downloaded episode.
I mean, maybe eventually we'll top that, but for right now, that's the king. That's the king or the queen.
It's a fascinating story. But yes, so you took a few-minute clip from each of our top 9 for this year and put them together for you guys to listen to. If you haven't had a chance to listen to all the episodes, you'll get a little glimpse at each one, and then maybe you can go and listen to your favorite one. And real quick, before we get into that, tell everyone about the new shirt you designed.
Yes, we have a brand new dad t-shirt that is on sale on our Shitty Shippers store. And I love it. And
the shirt?
Yeah, I like it a lot better than our last dad shirt that we used to sell. And that was a very popular one.
And I love that one too. So
yeah, this one I personally love. It's kind of a play off of those shirts that you see where it says eat, sleep, train, repeat.
Oh, okay. That's where you got the idea.
Yes, but it's change diapers, check for monsters, tell bad dad jokes, repeat.
I love it. I love it. Can you put in a little like clapping like sound? If not, if you don't find one, everyone, yay! I'm clapping my hands.
God goes wild.
I think it's super cute and completely relatable for dads and for parents. And it also implies that you're not the babysitter, that you really are the dad, that you are doing this day in and day out. And also, I just want to say, I love the color scheme of it.
Yes.
It's really, really beautiful. And on top of that, we decided for the new year to put all of our new designs from the last month or two up and live on our Shitty Shippers website. And so you can go on there, and if you wanted to get like a Mothering Your Way or the other mothering quote or option support respect, you can go on there and grab them right now. And we lowered the prices of all of them by a few dollars.
All t-shirts are $24.99. Hoodies and sweatshirts are $34.99.
Oh my gosh, you guys, the quality is unreal. We're really picky about that. And the colors are gorgeous. I'm going to have like a rainbow closet, which is perfect. Actually, when we met, I was wearing striped rainbow pants. So
yeah, I called them your Dr. Seuss pants.
Yeah, maybe we mentioned on here before, but if not, it's worth mentioning again.
Along with that really tight spaghetti
adorable.
Strap white tank top. Oh my God.
I was going to say, It was so adorable that it was worth mentioning again, but apparently you have other reasons why you think of it and mention it.
It was quite good.
But the best part is we're not doing the shipping, so you get it super fast.
Yes. You get
All right, so go check that out. And now we are going to take you into the top 9 of 2019. We hope you enjoy it.
Let's discuss.
Well, first, on a side note, when I wrote the book, I was not sober. I was on a teetotaler. So when I was picking out what I wanted to read for this episode, I saw margaritas and I was like, what? How dare I put that in my book? Because I'm in such a different mindset. But you reminded me that, well, at the time I wrote the book, that's not where I was at, and that's okay.
No.
So if you're reading,
and honestly, tacos and margaritas sound good, even though I'm not drinking either.
Right.
So.
That is true. So we'll have tacos and mocktails. But the point of this section is when we were actually writing this book, we had to remind ourselves that, what is it, like 95% of women birth in a hospital still, you know, at least in the United States, like the majority of. Maybe that's changed since the last time I looked it up, but it's probably pretty close.
Still going to be pretty high.
So, you know, the hospital birth chapter was really important to be supportive and informative. You know, there's also a care provider section in there. There's a self-care during hospital birth section in there. There's the partner point of view in there. And there's also birth plan templates in chapter 4. And you know, it's really important to have a good relationship with your provider, like we talked about, but then also just the energy and the attitude that you bring to that birth experience will make a big difference as well. Like when I went in to have my hospital birth cesarean with our last baby, we knew our provider, so we were really lucky there that we, you know, that he met us there, and I didn't get the on-call doctor, but you know, even the nurses didn't know us, the pediatrician didn't know us, and so, and having those conversations, it was okay to ask questions, to ask why, but you know, I didn't just argue with people right away just for the sake of arguing. And if you have birth trauma, that's actually really hard to do because your triggers are there, and they're pushed and they're activated. And so if you have your care provider there, that will help, that you have a good relationship with. But just try to remember that if you sit down with someone, if you automatically come off as combative, well, of course that's going to cause the other person to be defensive. But if you sit down and you say, I want to know my options, or I want to discuss this, or how do you feel about this? Okay, well, you know, why do you feel that way about this? And I understand you feel really strongly about this point, and so I can, you know, let's meet in the middle on that, but I feel really strongly about this point, you know. And I remember we had those kind of discussions with our six, with like the pediatrician, and if everyone realizes that the other person or everyone else is working to get to the same goal or end result, then I think there can be a very constructive and harmonious conversations and whatnot. So if
basically you don't want to take the Deadpool approach.
What's the Deadpool approach?
Let's just meet in the middle and do it my way.
I've actually done that too. Yeah. So
let's just meet in the middle and say no.
Yeah, I have had birth experiences where, and that's the other thing talked about in there too. Then if you're not being treated with, you know, support and respect, that's when you rock the boat and you're like, no, this is not going to fly. But the point is, you don't need to start with that. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully not.
You know, it might get to that pretty quickly depending on the situation. But if you can have that constructive conversation and everyone work together and on the same page, and there might be a few little compromises on their end or on your end to get everyone feeling comfortable about working together, then that's great. Then if you don't get that, yeah, you might have to, you know, dig your heels in and fight a little more. That might happen too.
Well, yeah. And if you think about, yes, we're talking about pregnancy, but anything else worth having in life. So you want to start a business, or you know, you're buying a home or something like that. You always want to do your due diligence. And the same goes with during pregnancy and finding a provider. It takes a lot of due diligence. Not all providers are created equal. You know, some are great, some are not.
And that goes for OBs, midwives, DOs, MDs, dentists.
Yeah.
Eye doctors.
Chiropractors.
Naturopaths. Yeah, everyone, right? That's just any profession. And
doulas, midwives.
What I can't control is how I choose to react to it. That's what I can control, and that's where my power lies. So that's a big part of mindfulness and being present for me.
I think that sounds fantastic. And it's true. It is
well,
true.
You have benefited from it, so.
Well, yeah. One thing I was
teasing. I love you.
One thing I was going to add on, there was the squawk, by the way. Did you guys hear the squawk? If you didn't, maybe I'll try and enhance it when I edit it. I think there's a
lot of mating calls happening in this backyard right now. Just real quick, let's talk about being in the moment. So grateful that we're sitting on this patio in this backyard, because we lived in an apartment for 2 years in Austin with no patio even. It was supposed to have a patio, but our unit didn't have a patio. And we've lived here for 1.5 years now. And not a day has gone by that I'm not grateful to have a little backyard with a patio again. I'm so grateful for it.
We are pretty much on our patio or in our backyard every day.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So we wanted to bring you guys out here with us today.
Yeah.
So I hope the noises aren't too much. But
yeah.
anyways,
nice and peaceful.
Yeah, it is. You were gonna say
one aspect that I have noticed mindfulness taking a much bigger role in my life is I used to white knuckle it through everything in life.
Yeah, you did.
So, for example, if I bought a new shirt, and when you buy a new shirt, a new pair of pants, or a new dress, you women, there's always tags on it.
Did you just say you women?
You women.
Well, you know what? What about the guys that are listening that like to buy dresses?
For you guys, if you like to buy dresses.
Thank you.
For you women who like to wear pants.
Thank you very much. Okay, proceed.
Whoever wants to wear whatever. Good God.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. Did I pass? May I continue?
Yes, you may continue.
What was I even saying?
I don't know. I got caught up on you women. My hackles went up. That's not something we like to hear. That's like telling a woman, like, just calm down. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be present in this moment as I throat punch you. Oh, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you would go and buy...
All right.
A dress shirt.
So when you buy a garment at a department store.
Now I feel triggered from the Mormon days.
Is that all?
Garments. Okay, yes.
When you buy apparel at a department store.
That is perfect.
There are tags.
Yes.
And more elaborate tags on more elaborate strings and threads and chains. And these things are getting crazier. Mm-hmm. And... so I used to just white knuckle it. So I would just try and rip it with sheer strength. Usually I did it. If I couldn't do that, then I would just bite it and I would just saw it with my sharp incisors.
Yeah.
And if that didn't work, I would figure out some stupid, brutish way of tearing off this tag and probably ripping my shirt in the process.
Probably.
So at first I thought that this new change I'm about to tell you was older tendencies creeping in. Because we just turned 40 this year. Maybe I'm starting to, get a little elderly, a little early. But I think what it is I'm just taking my time to do things. And so the other day I bought a few new items of apparel
for
clothes.
Me. Go
Work
ahead.
clothes.
Yeah, you look hot in them too. Holy shit. You are sexy.
Well, I had to match you.
Oh, thanks.
So I was taking off these tags and I went to rip off one tag and I was thinking, I know I can, and I just don't feel like having the string like slice into the skin of my fingers. I don't feel like actually using my muscles right now. And so I went and grabbed scissors and came over and just very normally cut through the string, took it off, put it to the side, and I just did that for all the new clothes I bought. And I remember thinking about it and like, wow, in the past I would have just ripped and bit and clawed and shredded my way through those clothes. And
it's very intense.
Yeah, it's just nuts how much I white knuckled everything in my life.
Instead of just simply walking over to the drawer and getting some scissors.
Yes, and it's like now I've become more economical with my decision making and my actions.
Oh, I like that. Economical with my decision making.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like Jerry Seinfeld says, if someone says, hey, turn around and look at this, you know what? No, I'll just catch it on the way back.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm too old. I've probably seen it.
Yes. And so at first you think that's he's just old. He's just an old
cynical
fart. But it's actually being economical with your movements and your time. It's like, you know what? Sure, I'll look at it, but I'll get it on the way back.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing stuff like that more often now. And it's great. I love it.
That's amazing. I think human beings have always had a go tendency, right? Like, survival and life and go. But we all know that's amplified now. Like, people expect each other and ourselves to be available 24/7. It's this franticness. Being busy is glorified. Success is based off of how many hours a day you work and how much money is in your account, and again, easier said than done to change that thinking, especially when you live in a society who isn't going to change their thinking with you. So to be mindful with your time and to slow down and to see, success a little bit differently, I think is phenomenal. But I think it's harder and harder do. So, have you decided on your favorite snack right now?
My favorite snack. Well, so I gave up sugar a few weeks ago, and it's both good and bad. It's good because I feel better. It's a big noticeable difference. And it's bad because I like sugar and I like all the things I used to eat that had sugar in them, and so I think that's not fair.
I have not given up sugar.
I don't want to stomp my feet and complain and whine, but
that's how I felt when I gave up dairy.
It hasn't been as hard as I thought it was going to be. Surprisingly, I've had a few hard days, but I am feeling noticeably different physically. So to me, that has always been a game changer. If something makes me feel incredibly better, then I tend to...
You still haven't answered my question.
What I was getting around to is no, I don't have a favorite snack because I gave up sugar. No, damn it, I just don't.
So maybe coffee is your favorite snack?
Yes.
Okay.
Coffee. Oh, cherries. Yes. So
there
frozen cherries. So
there
I don't have any added sugar. Let me preface that, because sugar and fruit, no one can ever convince me that's bad, because it's not. So I've been digging frozen cherries lately. I'll thaw them a little bit, and then, oh my gosh, it's like...
So you're getting all your sugar from fructose and no added sugars.
Yeah, I'm not getting the...
Yeah, you and our youngest love frozen cherries. Do you put cinnamon on yours still?
No, I haven't done that lately.
Yeah.
I used to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Chapter 13. Hey, I remember you. Sex and intimacy without fear. And the quote on this it's are nap dates a thing? Because that's something I can work with.
Yeah.
Nap dates.
Definitely.
I think
this chapter could be its own book.
It could. And you know what? I think it will be. I actually could see doing some kind of a relationship without fear book. Wouldn't that be really neat?
Yeah, I think it would be awesome.
Let's put that out there right now. I think that would be super amazing. Like what healthy boundaries and supporting one another, listening. Like, I don't know. I think that could be a really, really neat book. But for now, we have this chapter.
Yes, we do.
Let's see. What do I want to read after reading this chapter? Sorry, excuse me. Oh, there's so much goodness in here. I'm wondering if we should just go to the partner part in this one. Okay, let me tell you the sections in this chapter, y'all, real quick. And that way you'll know as you wait for Amazon to deliver your book. Communication and having the conversation. I think that's the number one thing, is that people sometimes tend to only have the conversation with yourself in your head. And then you feel how you feel towards your partner or your spouse. And they're like, wait, what? I never, so you need to have the conversation out loud. Yeah. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, make sure you're having it out loud. Expectations. That's another section. I think that's really important. Expectations. Self-care for sex and intimacy. Care providers for sex and intimacy. And then the partner point of view. You titled it The First Time All Over Again.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty funny sidebar. I enjoyed writing it.
Did you?
But there's a lot of truth to it as well.
Well, here, I'm going to hand you the book, and you can go ahead and pick a paragraph or two to read out of there. Oh, you already picked.
Here. Yeah.
Okay, go.
Well, the first paragraph is pretty good.
Okay. Oh, gosh.
So, remember the first time you ever had sex? Remember how awkward it was? You knew tab A went into slot B.
Oh, gosh.
But the combination of butterflies and giddiness might have made things seem a little more complicated than they really were. Guess what? The first time you and your wife/partner have sex again after the baby's birth is like your first time all over again. But why? Get the book to find out.
The way I would have written that versus the way you wrote that is why we have a partner point of view in this book, because it's so different. I would have never, ever have said slot A, slot B.
Tab A into slot B. I actually got that from my 8th grade science teacher. He said that one time. We were having a sex education week, and it's always stuck in me. He mentioned, he's like, you guys all know tab A goes into slot B, and we just all busted out laughing, and it was so funny.
Do you know what would happen if you treated teenagers like teenagers and said you actually use anatomically correct terms? This is not very difficult. It's okay. Penis, testicles, vulva, vagina, clitoris, labia. There are many young girls who don't even know that the vagina is not what you see on the outside of your body. Like that's your vulva, like I didn't even know that for many years. It's just, again, like we're not normalizing something so normal.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, we had sex education for a week in 6th grade, and it was this, everyone was giggling and laughing, and it was this
awkward,
goofy, awkward, funny thing. And it's just never taken seriously.
Well, and let's be real, having that conversation in a school setting with your peers at that age, you have to get comfortable enough with your own body and intimacy so that you can be comfortable discussing it with your children. You have to hold space for them in this. Like, don't we want our children to have a healthier relationship with their bodies and with their partners than maybe we had, or we had to figure out on our own because no one held space for us in that? So just like with anything else we've talked about, you have to hold space for yourself first, with your partner next, and then later with your children, and appropriate for their age conversations. And the more you normalize things, the less awkward or scared or scary, it is. Like, you remove the fear, a lot of it, you remove a lot of fear when you just have conversations and discuss it. But I think my favorite section in that chapter might be the expectations.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's really important. The communication, having the conversation out loud, and expectations when it comes to intimacy postpartum, I think is really, really important. So the first paragraph under the expectations chapter, I'll read it. Ready?
Ready.
Like with all things in postpartum and life, it's so powerful to examine our expectations. There's nothing wrong with going through a period of reconnecting with your partner, especially after such a major life change. It's our expectations that give us the false belief that everything should be the same as it was before. Or sometimes we even think things should magically be better. It's a time of transition. We can embrace the unknown and flow with it, or we can set up unrealistic expectations that inevitably leave us bitter and disappointed. It's good section, you guys. Good section. So moving on into, beyond pregnancy, what are some other creative ways that you have found in using CBD?
One thing that I heard recently is, maybe we should have started here even before getting pregnant, is, cannabidiol, and I should say, the endogenous cannabidiol 2-AG is actually responsible for working in the uterus to help the egg attach to the uterine wall.
So help.
Which,
so it helps
when you
with
start thinking about fertility issues,
mm-hmm.
and again, how this system is just interlinked into our body, it's amazing. You start, again, thinking about fertility issues and people that struggle. Is it an endocannabinoid deficiency? Because we don't have this plant in our diet where, ancestrally we did. It's so interesting to start thinking about this stuff. So, all right, let's jump to after pregnancy and nursing. This is a fun one.
Oh, okay.
2-AG is fine. Again, 2-AG and anandamide. Those are the two endogenous, endocannabinoids that our body makes. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. And 2-AG is found in high amounts in breast milk. Mm-hmm. And some research showed that when they tried to take the 2-AG out of the breast milk, that the baby was having a hard time actually latching and getting the motivation to suck to bring the milk down.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So again, if mom doesn't have the proper amounts of endocannabinoids, or isn't getting, phytocannabinoids into the diet, what's going to happen during nursing?
Right.
It is so wild to think about.
Well, I'm just thinking about all the ways that can affect nursing.
Wow. Yeah, we could have used that information.
I know. That's amazing. And I did hear a few months ago, a mama that I follow on Instagram shared that it's already in breast milk. And that kind of, it surprised me, but it didn't, because breast milk is literally magical gold. It's amazing and, changes for whatever the baby's needs are and has healing properties and so many different things. So it's only surprised me I hadn't heard it before, but once I heard it, I was like, well, that makes sense.
Of course it's in there.
Yeah.
Of course it's in there, right?
That makes sense.
It's amazing what you mamas can do. Again, been married for 13 years. I'm just in awe of my wife every single day. But yes, again, it's in high amounts in the breast milk, along with all the antibodies and the immune system that you give to the baby. So it's incredible. So speaking about that too, again, when baby is sick, we've talked about, say if baby's got a clogged tear duct in the eye. You've heard so many times about putting breast milk in the eye. And again, going on a nursing vacation, if you will, when baby is sick. Well, again, the endocannabinoids and the phytocannabinoids, there's receptors for those on the white blood cells in the body. And so those are an immune modulator. So we've all heard of autoimmune. So that's when the body, overreacts to a certain situation or completely underreacts to a given situation. Well, cannabidiol helps the body mount the proper defense if it's a viral or a bacterial or an autoimmune reaction.
Wow. That's awesome. So if I'm not feeling myself, then I need to feel myself. I need to balance whatever chakra that is.
Or I need to feel yourself.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that whole caring, there was that element for you in getting tattoos, I think. And then we were Mormon for a long time, so that played a part too. But we left the church, and I remember us talking about getting tattoos, and you were like, oh, why would you do that? Or, oh, that's permanent. And I was like, how much longer am I going to wait? I'm 30. What was I? 37. I was almost 38.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much? I'm getting close to 40. How much longer am I going to put it off? And I think I know what I want at this point. I'm not 18 years old and going to get a butterfly on my foot. Yeah, or, a
tramp stamp.
I wasn't going to say it. I don't know.
It's okay.
What a dumb word. But yeah, it's I'm not going to get something cliche.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get something.
With the barbed wire around your upper arm.
If I'm going to get a no, I would never get that anyways. But if I'm going to get a butterfly tattoo, it's going to have a significance to me now. Not just because I can't think of anything else or that's what everyone else is doing. That's my point. But thank you for just getting vulgar there.
Vulgar?
I actually had a good point there, but you just went there with the tramp
You're the
stamp.
one that was dropping F-bombs earlier.
That's not vulgar. That's just fucking expressing yourself with a lot of emotion. Yes. It's just getting your point across.
Well, fuck.
Oh my goodness. I have it on my mind because the girls are asking me what certain words mean from movies and stuff. And they're like, what does, one of them recently was like, what does whore mean? And another one was like, what does Pussy mean? Because she heard it in Venom. And, I'm like, well, this is what it means. However, females are taking our power back, and we're taking the power back in those words. They're not dirty words. There's nothing wrong with a woman being, sexual or being in her power, all this stuff. So I have it on my mind. So when you said tramp stamp, I wanted to go full on feminist on you for a moment there, but.
Speaking of, you should hear some of the feminist conversations that go on in this household. Holy moly. I don't mind it because we have 4 girls and, I want them to grow up to be confident, strong
women. And I want our boys to grow up around strong, confident girls.
Right. And having respect for women. Because I grew up in a very, in a home full of toxic masculinity. And,
for sure.
And I was a part of that
Bro
as
science.
Well. Bro science. I mean, it was just.
You guys idolized Arnold.
Oh yeah, we watch Pumping Iron every so often. Sports, pro wrestling. I was, grew up being in heavy metal. I'm still into heavy metal.
We do have some awesome conversations in the house, though.
But yeah, the conversations sometimes get really, really intense, and we have to okay, let's pause.
I'm talking about just feeding yourself breakfast. I know there are so many people, especially mothers, who get to lunch and they never even ate breakfast. Like, you don't have 5 freaking minutes to throw some toast in the toaster for you. Like, you're already standing there doing it. You're already doing the work. You're already making it for your kids, and you can't, oh no, I don't have 5 minutes. You are telling yourself every day, you are reaffirming to yourself every day that you are not worth 5 minutes. You are not worth feeding, that your brain is not worth giving it glucose that it needs, that your body doesn't need energy to take care of yourself and your job and your kids. We're not showing up for ourselves. And then we're still kind of showing up for each other, but then there's like resentment and we're burning out and it's exhausting. So how are we even going to show up for the big, new, scary things? How are we going to change the conversations with ourselves? How are we going to change the direction of our lives? How are we going to do the new things? Like, how are you going to become that 30 or 40 or 50-year-old that has like a whole new wave of success because you started a new career, you did something different, if you're not even showing up for yourself for like some fucking toast? Right? Like, for some reason, when I combine fuck and toast, it makes you laugh.
Eat your fucking toast. I'm gonna tell that to the kids in the morning when they don't eat breakfast.
Oh, man.
Will you just eat your fucking toast?
Man. 10 years of work into Birth Without Fear, and you're doing this and you're reaching more people. And you've always told me, Brandon, that, you know, I'm going to reach a lot of people, and there's a lot of people waiting to hear what.
No. I said there are millions of people waiting to hear what you have to say.
There we go. That's
what I said.
All right. So it's
don't
okay.
downplay it.
Exactly. It's okay for me to feel that the reality that's starting to happen. On the other hand, I'm like, I feel like I'm in transition in birth, and I'm looking in the mirror going, what the fuck were you thinking? Like traveling to Australia and doing what the hell are you thinking, you know? And the feelings of the fears, the inadequacy, imposter syndrome, anxiety, stress, worry, the financials of it, all these things of it come together. And I mean, I could want to curl into a ball and be like, I can't do this. And I can feel both those things simultaneously. And I think it's important to acknowledge all of those feelings. But the key is remembering that we still have a choice, and that I have the power and I have the choice to decide which feelings I feed, which feelings I give more attention to, which feelings I cultivate and nourish, and which feelings I am going to spend my precious energy on. So it's like, okay, you're feeling that. Yeah, you're feeling the anxiety of that, but you're also doing it. You're doing it anyways, and that is awesome. That's badass. It's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, and keep moving forward. So that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to share about the roller coaster of life. I'm using my most recent maybe examples that are relatable to me, but this goes for anything in our lives, anything we're trying to accomplish, from parenthood, job, school, our creative outlets, all of it. It's going to be a roller coaster, and it's going to be health. None of it's linear. None of it is linear. I don't even think time is linear. I think it's all just, it's big, you know, and we have to decide what inside of that bigness we're going to pay attention to, and we're going to feed, and we're going to give our energy to.
In Tools of Titans, I remember Tim Ferriss talking about how when you own your own business, it truly is like living a bipolar lifestyle. Because you have days where the success is just amazing and you're excited and so many good things happen. And there are other days where you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe how hard all this stuff is. Why am I doing this?
What the fuck was I thinking?
Fuck.
I feel that every year when we do taxes.
Oh my gosh, taxes and student loans.
Yes. It's overwhelming, right? It's really overwhelming. And I think a lot of people, that's paralyzing.
Yeah. And, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, your physical health. You've been mentioning that more on social media. And obviously my mental health has been no secret to people who follow you or listen to this podcast. But when I stop and think about everything that we are doing, it's no surprise to me sometimes that we do have these struggles. And, you know, with all the traveling and the book coming out, all that stuff on your plate, that's a lot. And then, you know, we're homeschooling 6 kids. Well, 5, your baby doesn't count because she's still a toddler. I'm getting ready to open up a new practice. I'm looking for office space right now, and I'm writing my own book, actually. Been working on that for like a year and a half in between of other stuff. And there's just so much going on all the time.
And we constantly feel that we're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we're tired.
Yeah. So often I will probably once a week, I'll think to myself like, oh my God, I'm 40. I must be coming down with a condition because I'm always tired. I slept well last night. Why am I tired?
Yeah,
And it's 2
I feel that way
p.m.
all the time too.
I'm always feeling exhausted and wiped out by the end of the day, and I can't ever figure out. And then when I stop to think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing 1,000,001 things. And also while trying to be a good husband and good father, it is a lot. It is a lot. And, this is not to try and say, hey, look at us, look at everything we're doing. We need attention because we're so busy.
Absolutely not.
Everyone listening to this is busy in their own way, shape, or form. Everyone's got kids, everyone's got their careers, their partners or spouses. We're all trying to accomplish the same things in our own little ways, and it's hard. Life is hard. It's not easy. And one thing that I have definitely is taken me literally 40 years to learn this lesson, and I didn't learn it until the book came out. But that the journey really is what it's all about. I've always, my entire life, focused on the destination,
right?
Thinking like, oh, when I get to that destination, then I'll be happy. If I could just hold out a little bit longer to get to that point I'm shooting for, I'll be happy then. And for some reason, I've always struggled with being happy. And
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. And so the whole process with the book coming out was just about 2 years, just under 2 years. But it was a really fun process.
Yeah.
We went to New York, met with all the publishers, had, back and forth correspondence with editors and everything, writing the book. That was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And the leading up to it. And then all of a sudden the book's out and boom, done.
Now
okay. Now what? What do we do now?
Next book. As many of you know, especially listen to the podcast, that we've had quite a wild ride the last few years. And this year has been a much better year for us. We still have things. We still have complications, crappy things we have to take care of or whatnot. But overall, this year has been better for us. And I have made it a point to enjoy my trips more this year, to not complain about them, to have a positive attitude, to have really intriguing conversations with strangers, to when I'm traveling, like at the airport or flying or hotels, to connect with people, via the Birth That Fear book, which has been amazing conversations this year. And then when I get somewhere, to eat well, to rest, to show up for myself as well. And when I was in Australia, which I've talked about quite a bit because it's such a wonderful, amazing trip. And you can go back a few episodes and listen to that if you haven't already. When I was in Australia, I really stepped up my self-care game while I was there, because I knew that I was going to have 2 weeks where I didn't have to worry about, honestly, what you wanted to do that day, because when you're with somebody every single day, it's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Right?
Right. Exactly.
And I didn't have 6 kids who not only would be asking me questions all day long, but, they have needs and they need their mom for whatever it is, whether it's homeschooling or hormones or anxiety. And I was not going to have that for 2 weeks. So I knew it was such a good opportunity for me to get real on taking care of myself and my body. Because, I have felt since having the bull 8 years ago that my body has not recovered. And I'm sure many of you listening understand what I'm saying. I did receive some spa treatments. I got a facial. I had a few massages, which was very interesting because a lot came up in those massages with the women and the healers that were doing those massages on me. And I realized why I was there, and I rested a lot and I ate good food. I slept, and I realized why I was there, that the amount of self-care I've been doing, that 5 minutes I'm asking everyone to do, that taking care of yourself before looking at your phone, is not fucking cutting it. It's not at all.
Not at all.
He's shaking his head, you guys. Not at all. And so
I echo all your sentiments, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
And I agree, 5 minutes a day, that's nothing. I mean, That is ridiculous. Like, we need to take
and
more
most
time.
of us aren't even doing that.
Yeah, I mean, how many of us? I've been there myself. You oversleep past your alarm and you're running late, and you have to get yourself ready real quick to head off to work or school.
Drop
if
your
you're
kids off at school,
you're still in school,
right.
And then you're going through your day, and then lunch comes, and you're like you said, you haven't eaten breakfast, so you're starving, so you overeat at lunch, and then your afternoon at work or school, you're tired, and you get home and you're cranky, and everyone needs you, and it's just the same old.
And for some of us, that's when we turn to alcohol and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, at least I used to, and I was starting to turn to alcohol every day, and then I realized that was a problem, and I stopped. But yeah, that's basically many of our lives, especially in countries like America.
Hope you enjoyed those clips, and if you were paying attention, you probably noticed some thrashy guitar riffs here and there. There's a little bluesy one. I did a little Old MacDonald tune. I had some fun doing that. So I really enjoyed this episode. I know it wasn't our normal podcast, but it was a lot of fun to put together. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it.
That's what it's all about. So
exactly.
Until next time.
Adios.
Love ya.
Time for naked cardio.